Hello and welcome back to Shelf Centered. This is Bryce. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up liking and subscribing about, this is something you end up enjoying. Who knows? It could happen. Anyway, I'm in a bit of a new spot. I have been shooting some videos from home, from my beautiful bookshelves from home instead of my garbage bookshelf at my office. We've had some things this summer come up, and I found that I just have to find any moment that I can film to really get anything done. So this is me just trying to maximize time here while I can. So I needed to do a book haul video before it got out of hand. There was an Audible sale, so you know me, I can't help myself. There's also a Kindle sale for Will White books. So anyway, we'll just jump right into it with the first thing, which is Kindle Books. So the first thing, Will White listed pretty much all of his books for sale for free that were on Kindle, and so that's why those are my Kindle books. I pretty much just went to town. Waybound did just come out, so that was the one that was not free. I did get that. Gotta have it. So it's on my Kindle. It's ready and raring to go. The audiobook was not the typical $2 price, so I'm gonna have to probably just get it on audiobook at some point, because that's probably how I'm gonna read it. That's how I've read everything, because Travis Baldree is just excellent, so that's the way to go. But I got The Captain, The Last Horizon. That's his new science fiction book. I got so this is it's an interesting naming scheme, and I guess just a premise to these books, but there's the Elder Empire series, and then there's the Elder Empire Shadow series. So each of the so they're two trilogies, but they have almost the exact same name, so it's hard to make sure you're getting the right books. First of all, luckily Kindle kind of organizes them for you in series, so that's nice. But there's the Of Sea and Shadow, of Dawn and Darkness, of Kings and Killers. That's the Elder Empire series, and then flip everything and you get the Shadow series. And I understand it's from essentially two different perspectives, and I guess you get to see, I'm assuming kind of one's a bad guy and one's a good guy in each one, just depending on which one you're reading. So, but then the Shadow series is of Shadow and Sea, then of Darkness and Dawn, and then of Killers and Kings. Will White's shot up there as one of my favorite authors and just a go-to auto-buy author. So that was a steal to get those books because of, that's how I kind of ended up in the Cradle series to begin with. The books were just dirt cheap. I think Unsold was like $2, and I'd heard great things, so it was like, why not on Audible? So here we are now, and he's an author that I've paid for many of his books. So I have not. He's gotten a healthy amount from me. I have to be honest here. So those are my new Kindle books. The next up is audiobooks. So audiobook, I did get a review copy from Troy Knowlton. That's The Seekers. I have it. He was nice enough to send a physical copy, but he probably knows me better than I know myself. He sent me the code to listen to it on Spotify. So this will be my first experience with an audiobook on Spotify. So maybe a good reason to do an updated audiobook kind of video, since that's my second best video on the channel at this point. All right, then, like I said, there was a sale. So here we go. Cannot help myself. There's the sale. So I found Star Wars: The Last Command, the Thrawn trilogy, book number 3. Found it. That's the last one I have to read in that trilogy, and let's be honest, that's the best way to get me to read it. What's funny is the other two are on audiobook on the library that I have, but just the last one is not, and that's why I haven't gotten to it. Frankly, I was like, I'll read it, and then here we are. I just need to listen to the audiobook. What's cool about Star Wars audiobooks is that you get a lot of the lightsaber sounds and the blasters and sometimes the music and stuff like that, and some of the droid sounds. Anyway, it's really immersive and really fun, and the Thrawn trilogy is just awesome. I went kind of crazy on Christopher Rocchio books. Kingdoms of Death. I'm not sure if I'm going to get these in the right order. Ashes of Man. I already had a number of them. Then I got some of the short stories, so Queen Amid Ashes. That hopefully won't throw me off too much because I had to jump around on my list. But anyway, I got pretty much everything I could on Christopher Rocchio because I love The Sun Eater. I've only read one book. This is one I've kind of put off just to read and catch up on series that I'm already in the middle of. I was like, man, what do I keep doing to myself? But of course, I keep reading first in series again and again. I can't help myself, so maybe I should just keep pushing forward. But anyway, great series. Can't wait to read more in that. Then I got the sequel. I already have the first book, The Blackest Heart by Brian Lee Durfee. Love Brian Lee Durfee's channel. I just feel like I'm going to mesh with him so well. He has a great sense of humor, and I just know so many people that I respect and really follow with their opinions have read and loved Brian Lee Durfee, so I'm excited to read more. And so I've got 2 books down, just got to get the last one. Then I grabbed The Dark Defiles by Richard K. Morgan. This is the second book. The first book is The Steel Remains. Anyway, looking forward to that series. It's supposed to be really good. Richard K. Morgan. He's the same one of the what is it, Takeshi Kovacs Altered Carbon series and all that. I wasn't super impressed with it. Just it was fine with Altered Carbon. It was something that it like, I think it had too much hype for me, and then it was just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good. But you know, some of the statements that Richard K. Morgan said, he seems to think a lot of himself as an author, and I get concerned, and that kind of turns me off a little bit on them. It was still good, so Altered Carbon, I still liked it, but anyway, I heard The Steel Remains is great, and so now I have 2 books in that series I haven't read. Then I grabbed some Alistair Reynolds, Diamond Dogs, Turquoise Days. I think it's short stories, I want to say, in the Revelation Space universe. I could be wrong on that. Editing Bryce will have to look that up. But anyway, I love me some Alistair Reynolds, and I'm slowly getting that whole series. Then I grabbed The Jade Setter of John Loon, and that's by Fonda Lee. I read the Greenbone Saga earlier. I've just finished it earlier this year. I love it. It's just, I got to figure out, has it reached my top 10 of all time? At least for urban fantasy, so I gotta reassess some things. But I absolutely love that trilogy. So anyway, to have more in that whole world, I'm gonna be grabbing it. Then I grabbed Javelin Rain by Mike Cole. Mike Cole, I've been a fan. I really liked Control Point and this whole series, Shadow Ops series. Really good one. You know, it does help. It's kind of fun that it is my own quote from a review that I did when I was blogging is in this book, so that definitely helps. But I love the series. That's the reason why my quote made it in, because I was very positive about it. It's like superheroes, but they get conscripted into the military, and Mike Cole is someone who is a military, has been in the military, is pretty much an expert. And so anyway, it's just really well done, really fun, fast-paced novels. Then I grabbed some Mark Lawrence. It's high time I get back into some Mark Lawrence. I've been meaning to read Mark Lawrence for some time, but I got The Liar's Key. I think I now own that because for some reason I remember my wife always gets me just like any book I want from Barnes & Noble on my birthday, so I think that was one year. And then I grabbed it. It was like free or cheap on, I want to say it was really inexpensive on Kindle. So now I have it in pretty much every version that you can possibly have it in. So maybe I'll actually read it this time. I also grabbed Red Sister. So again, it's just another trilogy. I'm way behind on my Mark Lawrence. I love The Broken Empire. One of my, again, got to reassess some things because I really enjoyed that trilogy. And anyway, it just really sticks in my head too. Then I got Night Glass by Leanne Merciel. This is in the Pathfinder series. So Leanne Merciel, she's got this series that's so under the radar, but I read it. I got an advanced reading copy, or at least a review copy at some point. I read it. It's The River King's Road, and then it was followed by Heaven's Needle. I think there was supposed to be more in the series, or trilogy at least, and it just never kind of came to fruition. But Heaven's Needle was one of my favorite books, at least that year that I read it. When it came out, it was like fantasy with some really good horror elements that made me go, Am I a horror fan? I think I'm a horror fan because it worked for me so well. I was just so impressed, and just she's not gotten the love that she deserved or deserves. And I'd always heard she kept writing in kind of Pathfinder and stuff like that. So I've been meaning to check more of her work out, and I will do that. Then I grabbed, this is 2 more books I've been meaning. I started the first book in this series ages ago, but I've been meaning to read these for ages. But Tobias S. Buckle, Ragamuffin and Sly Mongoose. I actually own copies of those in physical book, but I was like, I'll definitely read it in audio. I cannot wait to. I really like the first book, and so this is just one of those where finishing off. I'm focused. See, I can at least excuse buying more books when it's like focused here, right? Like I'm finishing something. That's one excuse I give. I give lots. So then I actually got this advanced reading copy for Sorcerer to the Crown like ages ago. This is when I was getting tons, and I couldn't possibly keep up. I mean, Ace alone was just sending me Ace and Rock were just sending me so much. I was on their list, and they're so nice to just send so much. I mean, here's just a couple more on my just on my shelf right there. More advanced reading copies, both Rock and Ace. But Sorcerer to the Crown, I'd heard it positively compared to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, so I've been wanting to read that for ages and just hadn't gotten into it. I think I even tried it for a little bit, but I was too unfocused, so I really want to give that one a go. Now I have it in audiobook. Then I grabbed Unfettered 2. This is edited by Sean Speakman. It has Brandon Sanderson. It's got a lot, just Brooks, Terry Brooks, and tons of great authors. So Unfettered, I think I own most of them at this point. One more Mark Lawrence snuck in there. I got The Wheel of Ostheim because I have got to finish that whole trilogy, and because I love the first one. Finally, we're gonna do this. All right, last couple here. I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. This has been on my list for ages. I mean, I'm a friggin' broken record at this point, but that's just another one. Classic, so I need to read it. It's just, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Then I got The Five by Robert McCammon. This is another one that I think I own in multiple. I think I have it in physical book form, audio now because I just got that, but also in Kindle. I have it in all the different forms. I still have yet to even actually read Robert McCammon. I've heard good things about this one too, and so maybe I will actually read it. I really, really, really want to. I've heard nothing but great things from McCammon. I mean, look at Mike's book reviews. He's been going through those and loving them. And again, they have a lot of, seems like Stephen King vibes, and one of my favorite authors. So, all right, so that's the end of the audiobooks. I just got a couple of physical books. I've been kind of slowing down, but again, I had to keep up on, I bought way too many to focus in a video that I don't want to go too long. Anyway, I featured this actually before in what I'm reading in a to-read video, but I didn't actually feature it in a book haul video. I was noticing. I went through and looked at my past book haul videos, but I got the Long Halloween. This is a friend recommended ages ago. I've been slowly making my way through these. Year one I read semi-recently, and this one already making my way through. It is so good. I like the inclusion of so many villains, so many good craziness, and there's some good stuff about Christopher Nolan and how much inspiration he took from this very comic in creating the Dark Knight trilogy. So it's pretty cool. Then I happened to find this. I couldn't resist. It's The Prisoner of Heaven, Carlos Ruiz Zafón. The Shadow of the Wind is such a good book, and I need to read more. And so I think this is the third in the trilogy. Yeah, this is the third. I believe there's one more after this too, though. So anyway, it's just such a cool looking cover. It does have deckled edges, which I know they look good, but I cannot stand them when I'm actually reading the book. Anyway, that's my book hot take here. But anyway, that is my book haul this month-ish time period, really just in the last couple of weeks. So anyway, what should I focus on? What are you thinking? Anything standing out to you? Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And we'll catch you next time. Maybe at another bookcase. I don't know. Maybe a third one. I don't know. Could be. Who knows? I'll see you. Bye.